You know that knot in your stomach, that subtle, sinking feel in G. That tells you something's off, even when you can't logically explain it. That quiet voice in the back of your head that whispers, "Wait a minute, this doesn't feel right." Most of us are taught to ignore that feeling. We're told to rationalize it, to be more understanding, more patient, more optimistic. But what if I told you that feeling is one of the most honest things you have? And the voice telling you to ignore it is your own brain actively lying to you. It's not a failure of intelligence. It's not because you're naive or weak. It's a feature of your brain's sophisticated, ancient, and often misguided attempt to protect you. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the deep psychology of you'll learn the 3 powerful reasons why your mind edits reality and keeps you stuck in situations long after you know you should have left. And by the end, you'll understand how to stop betraying yourself and finally start listening to the truth. So, why is your brain lying to you? The first, and maybe the most powerful, reason is a psychological phenomenon called cognitive dissonance. Introduced by psychologist Leon Festinger, cognitive dissonance is the intense mental discomfort we feel when we hold to conflicting beliefs, or when our actions contradict our values. And our brain has a powerful aversion to this feeling. It will look for a way to resolve the conflict and restore a sense of internal harmony. Imagine you believe you're a smart, rational person who deserves respect, but you find yourself in a relationship or a job where you consistently disrespected or kept in a state of chaos. Your actions staying put are now in direct conflict with your core belief about yourself. This creates a painful internal tension. Your brain is faced with a choice. It can either change the action, which involves the difficult, scary process of leaving, or it can change the belief. And more often than not, it takes the path of least resistance. It changes the belief. This is where self-deception kicks in. Your brain's internal PR team starts a subtle campaign to justify your actions. It doesn't tell you you're making a poor choice. Instead, it whispers, "It's not that bad." It reinterprets glaring red flags as something more acceptable. That controlling behavior, they're just protective because they care so much. That constant criticism, they're just trying to help me be a better person. We minimize, telling ourselves that it's a no big deal, or we rationalize harmful behavior just to reduce our own inner conflict. We aren't seeing reality anymore. We're seeing a story our brain has edited to protect us from the dissonance of knowing. We're reacting against our own best interests. This isn't always a conscious choice. It's often an automatic, subconscious mechanism designed to reduce emotional pain now, even if it leads to more suffering later. You're not foolish for doing this. Your brain is simply trying to keep your inner world consistent, even if it has to build that consistency on a foundation of lies. The second deep reason we ignore red flags is because, on a subconscious level, they don't always feel like danger. Sometimes, they feel like home. This is rooted in attachment theory, a concept pioneered by psychologist John Bowlby. Our earliest experiences with caregivers create a blueprint for what love and connection feel like to us. This blueprint, or attachment style, becomes an unconscious framework for our adult relationships. If your childhood was defined by caregivers who were emotionally unavailable, inconsistent, or chaotic, your brain may have learned to associate those very patterns with connection. As an adult, your conscious mind might crave stability and peace, but your subconscious mind, which drives a lot of our attractions, is drawn to what's familiar. In the brain's ancient operating system, predictability can feel like survival, even if that predictability is painful. Think of it like this. If you grew up having to fight for attention or manage a parent's unpredictable moods, a secure and stable partner might feel boring or too nice. Your nervous system isn't used to it yet. But when you meet someone who is emotionally distant, who gives you moments of intense connection followed by withdrawal, or who you feel you need to fix, your subconscious can perk up. This feels familiar. This feels like a challenge your brain already knows how to handle. This is where red flags like emotional unavailability or inconsistency don't get registered as warnings. Instead, they can get registered as an opportunity to finally heal an old wound. Someone with an anxious attachment style might fear abandonment, so they cling tighter at the first sign of distance. Someone with an avoidant style might push intimacy away, creating the very distance they secretly fear. You're not just interacting with a person. You're often subconsciously reenacting an emotional script from your past. You might ignore the red flags because you're not just seeing a person who is bad for you. You're seeing a chance to finally get the love you were denied, to prove your worth, and to turn a painful ending from your past into a happy one. It's a tragic miscalculation, driven by the powerful desire to return to the scene of the original crime and solve it. The third reason you ignore red flags is a psychological one-two punch. The hope trap and its accomplice, the sunk cost fallacy. First, you get caught in the hope trap. This is when you fall in love not with the person as they consistently are, but with their potential. You see flashes of the person they could be on good days, when they're charming and attentive. These moments deliver powerful hits of feel-good hormones like dopamine and oxytocin, creating a sense of euphoria that clouds your judgment. You get hooked on this potential, on the hope that the good days will someday become the norm. This hope becomes a filter that distorts reality. You stop evaluating the relationship based on the day-to-day reality and start living for the possibility of a future that may never arrive. You tell yourself, if I just hold on a little longer, or if I can just help them through this, everything will be amazing. Hope is a beautiful thing, but here, it can keep you tethered to a fantasy. And the longer you stay, the more you fall victim to the sunk cost fallacy. This is a cognitive bias where we continue down a path simply because we already invested resources like time, emotions, and effort. Your brain thinks, I've already put 5 years into this. I've introduced them to my family. I've made so many sacrifices. If I leave now, all of that was for nothing. The fear of having wasted your investment becomes a huge psychological barrier to leaving. It feels less painful to keep investing in a failing project than to admit the investment was a loss and walk away. But here's the hard truth. The time and energy are already gone. They are sunk. Staying for another year in an unhappy situation doesn't get you those 5 years back. It just means you've now lost 6. The fallacy is so powerful, though, that it convinces you the only way to justify your past investment is to keep investing more. This is how people stay in unhealthy dynamics for years, held captive not by love, but by the psychological weight of their own investment. If any of this sounds familiar, please know there is no shame in it. This is the predictable machinery of the human mind at work, but understanding the machine is the first step to overriding it. So how do you break the cycle? It's not about trying to change the other person. It's about an internal shift. It starts with 2 key practices. First, choose reality over potential. Make a conscious choice to evaluate your relationship based on consistent, observable behaviors, not on words, apologies, or potential. A powerful way to do this is to keep a private journal. When a red flag incident happens, write down exactly what happened and how it made you feel, without excuses. Over time, you'll have a written record of reality, a collection of data that's much harder for your brain to distort. When your mind starts whispering, it's not that bad, you can go back and read the facts. Second, learn to trust your body's data. Remember that knot in your stomach. That's not just random anxiety. That is your nervous system processing information, sometimes faster than your conscious mind can keep up. It's your body giving you vital data. When you feel that tightness in your chest or that sinking feeling, don't just dismiss it. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? Your body doesn't get tangled up in cognitive dissonance or sunk costs. It primarily understands safety and danger. Relearning to trust its signals is the ultimate act of self. It's you, finally siding with the most honest part of yourself. If this video resonated with you, please consider liking it and subscribing. And I have a question for you. Which of these reasons, cognitive dissonance, the familiarity principle, or the hope trap, has been most powerful in your life? Share your experience in the comments. Reading each other's stories is a powerful reminder that none of us are alone in this. Ignoring red flags is a form of it's a slow erosion of self-trust, where we teach ourselves, obey that our feelings don't matter and our perception is wrong. Breaking this pattern is a journey back to yourself. It's the decision to choose the uncomfortable truth over a comfortable illusion. It's having the courage to admit that an investment has failed, that a hope was misplaced, or that a familiar pattern is actually a cage. But on the other side of that courage is freedom. It's the peace that comes from aligning your actions with your values. It's the deep self-respect you earn when you finally stop abandoning yourself. And it's the quiet, unshakable confidence of knowing that no matter what, you have your own back. And that is a foundation on which you can build a truly authentic life.